This is Kathy Knipfer, instructor for Nursing 2333, recording the Managing Nursing Care lecture for Chapter 1, Leading, Managing, and Following. We have a triple aim in healthcare. The three things that we focus on are access, quality, and cost of care. These evolved from two major developments. There was a report by the Institute of Medicine entitled The Future of Nursing, Leading Change, Advancing Health, and also the passage of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The term triple aim was coined by the Institute for Healthcare Improvement, or the IHI. Nurses who practice in expanded roles help to solve access to care in practice settings beyond traditional hospital and ambulatory centers. The nurse may also practice in other settings such as school clinics, public health, palliative care, hospice and home care, or even urgent care. As this access increases, nurses have to be vigilant to deliver care that is scientific, state-of-the-art, and sensitive to patients' needs. This creates a quality experience for the patient. Nurses must consider the patient's values and beliefs, and they also should include health literacy into the quality equation. Technology, institutional care, supplies, and human resource requirements place a staggering cost burden on individuals and businesses. The cost of insurance company profits that are tied to limits placed on coverage, and high deductibles are commonly being discussed. Leadership focuses on dealing with unknown situations. It is defined as the use of individual traits and abilities to interpret an emerging situation and to address the situation in the absence of a script or a defined plan. When one compares management to leadership, management has a greater emphasis on following protocols and procedures. Managing can also refer to control of one's own individual work and energies. The definition of management is the act of any individual who guides others through a series of routines, procedures, or practice guidelines. Followership is the optimal use of personal attributes in a team situation, while acquiescing to a peer who is leading or managing. This ensures that the best clinical decision-making and actions are taken to achieve clinical or organizational outcomes. Followership requires active engagement and preparation by group members. Emotional intelligence is the possession of social skills, interpersonal competence, psychological maturity, and emotional awareness devoted to helping people work well together. Emotional intelligence is what helps people see others in a positive light. In other words, two managers could reach the same decision and present the idea to two different groups. The one with the skills inherent in emotional intelligence is likely to be perceived in a more positive light, even though the outcome may be the same. We should consider the 5 domains to be emotionally intelligent. The 5 domains of emotional intelligence are having self-awareness, managing emotions, motivating self, being empathetic, and handling relationships. These 5 domains are associated with competent practitioners. Having self-awareness means that you can identify the emotions you are feeling and that you know how they are altering your perceptions. Managing emotions means that the negative emotions, such as anger, fear, or passive aggressiveness, are avoided. Motivating self suggests that we would be inwardly rather than externally driven. Being empathetic suggests that we value differences in viewpoints and we don't side with one group versus another. Handling relationships means that you are socially appropriate. Emotional intelligence is also demonstrated in facilitating development of these domains in others. Effective leaders and managers use focused energy and stamina to accomplish a vision. They use critical thinking skills in decision making. They trust their personal intuition and then back up intuition with facts. They accept responsibility willingly and follow up on the consequences of actions taken. They identify the needs of others, deal with people skillfully, they coach, communicate, and counsel. They demonstrate ease in standard and boundary setting. They examine multiple options to accomplish the objective at hand flexibly. They are trustworthy and handle information from various sources with respect for the source. They motivate others assertively toward the objective at hand and demonstrate competence or are capable of rapid learning in the arena in which change is desired. Bleich and Koziak say that we can divide theory about leading, managing, following into two categories. The first comprises the leadership theories, and the second comprises the motivational theories. The four leadership theories are trait, style, situational contingency, and transformational. We will look at these in greater detail in the next slides. With the trait leadership theory, leaders have a specific set of physical and emotional characteristics that inspire others toward a common goal. Some theorists believe traits are innate and cannot be learned. Others believe leadership traits can be developed. Self-awareness of these traits is helpful in self-development and seeking employment. Traits might be drive, integrity, confidence, cognitive ability, and task knowledge. Style leadership theory focuses on what leaders do in relational and contextual terms. Satisfactory performance measures require supervisors to pursue effective relationships with subordinates while comprehending factors that influence outcomes. To understand style, leaders need to obtain feedback. Employee-centered leaders are the ones most able to achieve effective work environments and productivity. Situational contingency theory. Leadership effectiveness depends on the relationship among the leader's task at hand, his or her interpersonal skills, the favorableness of the work situation. Three critical factors include the degree of trust and respect between the leaders and the followers, the task structure denoting the clarity of goals and the complexity of the problems, the position power the leader has with respect to ability to reward and exert influence. With transformational theories, the leader attends to the needs and motives of followers to raise the levels of motivation and morality. The leader is a role model. The leader displays optimism, provides intellectual stimulation, and encourages creativity. These organizations are responsive to customer needs. They're morally and ethically intact. They promote employee development and encourage self-management. Nurse leaders experiment with system redesign. They empower staff, create enthusiasm, and promote scholarship. Motivational theories include hierarchy of needs, the two-factor theory, the expectancy theory, and organizational behavior modification, or OB. With the hierarchy of needs motivational theory, people are motivated by a hierarchy of human needs that begins with physiologic needs and then progresses to safety, social esteem, and self-actualization. Lower level needs will always drive behavior before higher level needs are addressed. Leaders should remember that the need for safety and security will override opportunities to be creative and inventive. The two-factor motivational theory identifies hygiene factors such as working conditions, salary, status, and security that motivate because they meet safety and security needs, thus avoiding job dissatisfaction. These are in place for work to be accomplished, but they do not promote job satisfaction. Achievement, recognition, and satisfaction of the work itself promote job enrichment by creating job satisfaction. The philosophy of the expectancy motivational theory is that motivated behavior is increased if a person perceives a positive relationship between effort and performance. It's also increased if a positive relationship exists between good performance and outcomes or rewards. It's important to provide specific feedback about positive performance. The organizational behavior modification motivational theory is also known as OB modification. It is based on Skinner's work on operant conditioning. Positive reinforcement is used to motivate followers to repeat constructive behaviors in the workplace. Negative events are negatively reinforced, and the staff become motivated to avoid those situations that cause discomfort. Extinction is where negative behavior is purposefully ignored. With this theory, punishment is used sparingly. Now we'll move on to complexity theory. Complexity science promotes the idea that the world is full of systems that interact and adapt through relationships. Nurses must be flexible and dynamic to be in tune with the ever-changing systems of people, healthcare, public policy, and human relationships. Strategies that are multidimensional are developed to reach a positive outcome. Decision making is distributed so that every voice counts. Complexity science users develop networks such as a nursing program connects with a clinical setting. These users encourage non-hierarchical interaction among workers such as shared governance. These users become a leadership tag based on the values and philosophies such as good energy. They focus on emergence, to be creative and think outside the box. So they think systematically, they think of the big picture, they balance short-term and long-term objectives, they recognize the dynamic, complex, and interdependent nature of systems. They use measurable versus non-measurable data systems. Gardner has identified tasks of leadership. The first one is envisioning goals. The definition of that would be effective change occurs when a nurse leader can establish a shared vision. All of these tasks can be categorized on a clinical level, a management level, and an executive level. If you look at Table 1-1 on page 14 and 15, you can see where it would apply to clinical, where it would apply to management, and where it would apply to executive. Affirming values, driving forces that give purpose, direction, and precedence to priorities. Motivating, the individual would use reinforcers that keep positive actions alive and sustained for change to occur. With managing, the individual would create structures that support clinical and organizational outcomes. Management skills are necessary for all. Achieving workable unity, the individual may need to use principles of conflict resolution, such as those identified in box 1-2, and this would be to restore unity. Developing trust is another task that Gardner has identified. It's important to behave with consistency, truth-telling, and clarity. Explaining, what are the steps? Determine what needs to be shared. Know who will receive the information. Provide opportunity for dialogue and feedback. Plan the message in concise terms, and be willing to repeat information in different ways. Gardner also identifies serving as a symbol as another task. The individual would be an ambassador, also representing the group. Participation on committees to promote innovation, focus on the organizational objectives, mission, and purpose. So a nurse could represent their med-surg unit on a committee. Renewing, where the individual provides celebrations of accomplishments. Bleich has identified tasks of management as well. The first one is to identify systems and processes that require responsibility and accountability and specify who owns the process. Number 2, to verify minimum and optimum standards or specifications and identify roles and individual responsibilities to adhere to them. 3, validate the knowledge, skills, and abilities of available staff that are engaged in the process. It would be important to capitalize on their strengths and strengthen areas in need of development. Another task is to devise and communicate a comprehensive big picture plan for the work division. The individual would honor the complexity and variety of assignments made at individual levels. Another task would be to eliminate barriers or obstacles to work effectiveness. Number 6 is to measure the equity of the workload and use data to support judgments about effectiveness and efficiency. The individual would offer rewards and recognition to individuals and teams and recommend ways to improve systems and processes. The individual would use a social network to engage others in decision making and for feedback when appropriate or relevant. This is all self-explanatory. Bleich also identifies tasks for followers. Followers should demonstrate individual accountability while working within the organization. The individual does not alter the process for personal gain or shortcuts. The follower honors and implements care to the standards and specifications required for safe and acceptable care or service. The follower offers knowledge, skills, and abilities to accomplish the tasks at hand. The follower collaborates with leaders and managers, avoids passive aggressiveness or not assertive responses to work assignments. The follower would include evidence-based feedback as part of daily work activities. This would be a self-guide to efficiency and effectiveness and also contributes to outcome measurement. The follower would demonstrate accountability to the team effort and take reasonable risks as an antidote for fearing change or unknown circumstances. The follower would evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of the systems and processes that affect outcomes of care and service and advocate for a well-designed work. The follower would also give and receive feedback to others to promote a nurturing and generative culture. In conclusion, I would like for you all to write down 3 leadership strategies that you found in this chapter that promote optimal functioning of the healthcare entity.